Hello, this is Arthur Nix. My company is EWKS, and I'm a HeavyBid contract trainer. Today I'm going to talk about bid item descriptions, specifically the merging options, mostly for the DOT contractor, although this can also apply to other people who are using BidItem codebook. Now, a common problem in HeavyBid is there's a 50-character bid item description limit. And this is probably not ever going to be changed because of just some limitations on the original design from what I can understand. However, there is some alternatives that will pretty much alleviate that issue right there. So let's look at this. The options specifically is found in Tools Preferences, the DOT import. And there's three of them. Pull in from BidItem codebook, bring in item to be abbreviated, and truncate to 50 characters. Now the default is truncate to 50 characters. If you don't do anything, that's what it does. So we're going to look at all three of these and see which one's the best. And then I'm going to have an alternative for you that will even give you more information when you're in, for instance, in the bid pricing. All right, so option 3, the default one, is, of course, the bid item will be truncated to 50 characters, and it will be brought in from the Ashtoware import file or BidX or whatever you're using. However, the alternate description will bring in the entire description. All right, I think there's over 200 characters in the alternate description, so it will bring that in. The issue is, you can see the alternate description in tree view. You cannot see it in quote folders or bid item pricing. All right. Now option 1, this would affect the bid item description, not the alternate one. It's a good option if, let's say, for striping. You have just specific information detailing the stripe, white stripe, skip, whatever, and you want that to be in the front of the description. A lot of DOTs put it in the very back. So what you do is, this option is, well, it will take your modified bid item description and bring that in so that you don't see the what was actually imported in from the Ashtoware. Now, this is a good option if you want to take the time. You don't have like 1,000 to modify, maybe 100, 200 or so, and then you don't have to even use the alternate description. Everything would be like you want it. Now, option 2 is probably the least desirable, because what it will do is it's going to bring up every item that you want to be abbreviated every time you do an import. Unless you do like only a dozen estimates a year, DOT estimates, I don't see this as a good option at all. But if you're just an infrequent bidder, this might work for you fine. So this is the file that I'm going to import into HeavyBid. You can see here this is a DOT bid item right here, and then if I scroll on down, obviously that's going to be over 50 characters. But the one I want to focus on is down here, probably the pavement markings, and you can see that they put probably the most important information here at the end. And this is kind of typical for striping, but it also can be for signage or even specs like for asphalt too. So a lot of DOTs do this. I'm not sure why, but let's go ahead and import this in, and we're going to use, let's go ahead and go up to Tools, Preferences, Estimate. And let's come down here to DOT import, and you can see that right now I got truncate to 50 characters, the third option, which is the default option if you don't change anything. All right, so let's put OK. I'm in Setup, and then Bid Items. All right, I come down here to the lower right, and I do import bid items, and I do a DOT import. And if you're watching this, you probably know the procedure, because I'm going to import in a COL file that I have exported in from Astroware or BidX. Be sure that you are not, if you are a DOT contractor, that you are not importing in an Excel file. Okay, everybody should be exporting a COL file out of one of the, BidX or Astroware. All right, so now I'm going to come here to import bid items. You can also go to your settings again right here, and you could change it, but we're just going to go right here and see what happens. All right, it imports the bid items. And you can see right away there's truncation right here. Here we got the retaining wall. You can come down here to the asphalt, and that came in, but it looks like some of it is missing right there, and of course down here on the striping, that a lot of it is missing right there. However, there is, if you hit customize right here and customize again, there's the alternate description right there, and here it is here. I'll bring it over so we can just compare. Bring it over. There you go. And there it is. And you can see that all the information is in the alternate description. So the good news is when you're in Tree View and you come to display options, you can go with the alternate description right here. And if you want, you can also go with the client bid item, which is the DOT. I'll show you what that looks like, and there you go over here in the view side of the screen. Now if I click on this, let's go down to, again, go down to our striping, and you can see here at the top I have the full description right there. However, the issue is when I come to the quote folders, or to, let's come over here to the, let's go ahead and go to pricing. I'm back to the truncated right here. And there is, even in the customized view, unfortunately, there is no alternate description. So that is something that you need to work around. If you're comfortable with the truncated, by the time you get the pricing, then everything's fine. So now that we've done option 3, let's go look at option 1. And this is where it will take the bid item description from the bid item codebook, okay, instead of the Astroware file. So here we got, I just took an example. I know this is in the estimate, the 0710111131, and I have modified it so that I have the pertinent information up front instead of at the very back. All right, so, and this is just in the regular description, not the alternate description. So let's go back to, and also I have gone to Tools, Preferences, Estimate. Let's go to the DOT import, and now I have made this the one to be selected, pull in from bid item codebook. So we go OK. I go to Setup, Bid Items, then I come down here to Import Bid Items, just like I did before. I could go change that setting right here, but I don't need to, and I'm going to go ahead and import the DOT bid items. All right, bring those in. All right, let's go back, just go back to Tree View. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go to my display options, and instead of alternate, I'm going to go back to my regular. And then I'm going to come down here to my 7101131, and you can see my regular description is coming in from the bid item codebook. Why this is important is in the bid pricing and in the quote folders that I have the correct bid item description. So if I go to bid pricing now, You can see this is just a regular description, as the alternate description is not available and in the bid pricing screen. But here I am on 1040, which is the 7101131, and I have the description that was imported in from the BidItem code book, not the Ashtoware description that was brought in. So this is nice when I'm pricing, that I have the actual description. Now this is all well and good that we have the correct description up here, but there is one caveat here. It is always copying from your BidItem codebook setup. So let's say you have a DOT that, you know, the descriptions are kind of fluid. They're not exact. Yeah, they might tend to alter them for the same client number. This is where this is not, you know, this is where this can get tricky right here. So that's just a warning out there that, remember, it's not doing an either or. If you select that first option, it is always copying from right here, your BidItem codebook, and it just might disagree with what was brought in from Ashtoware, but it will bring in this description. So be very careful and understand you know, the differences here. All right, so now let's go look at the option 2, which I think I don't really see anybody using, but I do want to demonstrate it. Let's just go up here real quick, and we're just going to go delete this. So we're going to delete the item so we could demonstrate this, and I come and select all, and then delete items, and then delete it, and yes to all. All right. So now we're going to come up, and we're just going to do it. Just go right into setup BidItems, and instead of going to the tools preferences, because I can still get to that option. So I come up here to BidItem setup. I come down here to import BidItems, DOT import. This time though, I'm going to click my settings and go ahead and make that option right there. All right, so I come in here and I start importing. It brings up the first one right here. Now the problem is I don't really know what BidItem. It does look at my BidItem codebook and says, hey, here's the BidItem codebook, and I can say use that code right there. Or I can just say, I can go ahead and modify this. The only problem is, one thing I found, there's not 50 characters here. However, it is telling me that, you can see here as I bring my cursor, there's some like phantom cursor, you know, phantom characters here. So I'm not sure exactly. Now I'm down to that. Let's go to the next one here. 81. Again, you can see it's way out here. So I would have to just come in and do this. I could do this also in my text editor too, if that's an issue. And it's going to do that for, it seems like it's doing it for every BidItem. All right, so this is pretty tedious. I really don't see this as an option. You really need to do option 1 or option 3. And don't use this option. All right, so now I'm going to show you another thing that you might consider if you want to have the full BidItem description, but also to import in, let's say you really don't want this to come from the BidItem codebook. You're okay with it. I mean, you have to be okay with it being on 50 characters because that's all it will take. But you want to have the right information. You at least want to be able to access quickly the complete BidItem description in the bid pricing screen. So how do we do this? This is a little bit of a trick here. Let me just go back. I'm in the BidItem setup and customize. I'm going to export out just this right here. That's all I need. In fact, all I need is that. Just these 2 items right here. And I'm going to go right click and I'm going to send to Excel. Now what I'm going to do is import the full description in as bid item notes. So I come up here to exchange, I come to import, I come over here to database, bid items, and all I need is, let's just browse out and get the file. I'm going to go to my desktop. I saved it as bid item description notes. Should just have 2 columns. It does. There's the export right there. And all I need here is to have A, and I'll come down. And I believe the notes right here, cost notes. I never figured out why they call it cost notes, but that's what it is. It should really be bid item notes, and that should be B. All right, so I import that in. Now remember, this would override any other note, so be careful here. If you would do this in the beginning, not in the middle of your estimate. But what's nice about this is when I'm in here in the bid pricing screen, and I get to an item that has been, truncated, obviously, I come here and then I click on my notes and I see the full note right here. So I kind of have the best of both worlds. I got my, I have my actual description coming in from my Ashtaware, okay, not my bid item code book, but yet I do have my estimate notes that I can always go back and check. And don't forget, now this is imported in with option 3. I still have in my tree view, I can always go back and then have my display as the alternate. So I can have the alternate here, right at the top. And then I can have in the bid pricing, of course, I'm going to have the truncated, but then under each one of these, I'll have the note where I can always go and check and see the full description. All right, so that just kind of gives you an alternate there. Unfortunately, I can't think of a way to really do that for the quote folders, so there's no quick fix on that one. Anyway, well, I just wanted to cover the 3 options that you have. And again, this is Arthur Nix, EWKS. If you got any comments, feel free to send them to me. Or maybe you have come up with some other ways of solving this 50-character truncation limit for your DOT import.